Y'all want this live stream started, right? Y'all want this live stream started quickly, right? Well, give me 2 minutes. Allow people to join, and I will be right with you. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. Let's get this live stream started. We see a big coronal hole here at 193 angstroms. And besides that, not a lot going on besides a very, very low level of solar activity, as the 10.7 centimeter radial flux has now dipped down to 67, an unwelcome sign. So let's show you a link here at solon.info. And this report just updated 3 hours ago. So now what we're looking at here is the black line. And you note this little, oh, geez, that's yesterday's stuff. Notice this little dip here. That's the current situation with the 10.7 centimeter radial flux. And we're going to talk more about that in one moment. But first, let's talk cycling. Now, the bicycle is the most efficient means ever devised to transport humans. Let me repeat that. The bicycle is the most efficient means ever devised to transport humans. For all you preppers out there, do you own a single bike that works? Do you have a rusty bike in the shed that needs a little bit of TLC and it would be just fine, but right now it doesn't function? Well, if so, head to theveloshop.net and get some new gear. They got everything from bikes to accessories to clothing, and it's the official bike shop at the Lehigh Valley Velodrome. And me, Daniel Nigro, aka smAsho Mash, your host. This is the team for which I ride. And if you'd like to sponsor the team, we are looking for sponsors for this year yet. So this is a unique opportunity here. Usually we have our kits squared away by fall. So because of various delays that I will not get into, our kits are not squared yet. So if you'd like to sponsor the team, appear in our jerseys, please email me at smashomash@gmail.com and we will make it happen if the price is right. If you want to sponsor me personally, I'm attempting to raise $5,500 by May 1st. And somehow I don't think we're going to reach the goal. But sometimes you got to reach for a goal that's a little bit out of your reach, because maybe you'll get close and maybe you'll exceed it. Who knows? Anyway, if you want to sponsor me personally, go to the GoFundMe page. And there are other ways to do that also. Now, we are in the process of starting a nonprofit organization. And so check out smashomash.org if you like. It's not very set up yet. It's just got a bunch of links. So let me take this opportunity to read you the mission. The mission is to assist, study, and report on the ongoing formation of unified theory of physics, to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space weather and Earth effects, to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach. I did not get through to any national radio shows yesterday, folks, although I did try. To demonstrate cutting-edge proof of concept solution to problems, such as growing tomatoes indoors over the winter, to get a massive head start on the spring growing season, as we've been having late springs 2 years in a row. 5, to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, including the sciences you see on the screen, but not limited to those sciences. Also to assist mankind by advancing the study of predictive phenomenon in order to optimize value, reduce risk and liability, save lives and resources, and adapt no matter what the adversity is. That's right. Adapt even if the Earth starts spinning the opposite direction, crustal displacement happens, and the world as you know it is completely annihilated. You can survive. The human species has been surviving the earthly catastrophe cycle for probably millions of years. We're not going to get into the the Paleolithic record, because that's some digging that I'm not interested in doing. However, the last part of the mission is to not be ossified in our beliefs and to treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion. You can also donate to our cause here at PayPal. We only need another $5,475 to reach the GoFundMe goal by May 1st. So if you'd like to donate, and if you want to do it in a stealthy fashion and you want no cuts taken out, go to paypal.me/smAsho. Let's get on to some data, such as the real-time solar wind. And man, oh man, I'm seeing some anomalies jumping off the page at me here. And we will be looking at cosmic ray flux in a moment. And incidentally, wow, check out that data. Not that data, that data. That is most assuredly anomalous. And that's probably data loss right there, folks. I'm not sure what to make of that one, so let's not get fixated on it. We do see coronal hole magnetic connections going on just recently in the past few hours. So earthquake risk is up, although it looks like the phi angle is rising here. So best guess is that there's a disconnection with that coronal hole going on. And keep in mind, that coronal hole is big. Solar wind density is currently at 6 protons per cubic centimeter. And we've come off a recent peak in the solar wind speed also. So down to 375 kilometers per second. And I think in order for this to happen, there would need to be perturbations in this too. And that's why I think that data is anomalous and that there was some sort of outside interference, such as a cosmic ray, causing anomalous readings to come back. Let's look at the gong too, as we do most days, as long as the site's working. Now this data is 1 hour and 16 minutes old. I would note some plasma complexity going on in this region right here. And that's going to cause some GOES magnetometer spikes. In fact, they're probably already in place. And there's the last frame. So there's going to be a disconnect, reconnect sort of a thing going on here as these dense plasma regions, such as this one, tend to return a weaker magnetometer, and these tend to return a stronger magnetometer with a more direct connection to the corona. Next, I want to I'd like to set your attention on spaceweather.com. This is the site I originally started following the sun very closely in about 2002, at which point many solar forecasters were already predicting a grand solar minimum. So we've entered back into those conditions. Now they need to update this here as the 10.7 centimeter radio flux is actually not at 68, it's at 67. I would also note the Thermosphere climate index. Now, let's hope that we're not going to be flirting with these kind of levels as we did in 2009 and 2010, and that is associated with the highest cosmic ray flux ever measured. Let's hope we don't get back to that state, folks, because it's not good for the economy, your health, or for extreme weather events. Put a link to each page that we're going to be viewing here, I think. If there's any problems with it, folks, please let us know in the comments or in the live chat, depending on when you're watching the video. And thanks for watching the video, by the way. Please help us get to 1,400 subscribers, as our current subscriber count is at -8. Anyway, there's the 10.7 centimeter radio flux forecast. Again, there is a link in the description already. And we are in some serious solar minimum conditions. Although they are predicting an uptick here a little bit. May 5th, they're predicting a 76. So 10.7 centimeter radio flux, by the way, folks, is a way to measure solar activity when there are no sunspots, such as now. More data at spaceweathernews.com. We see X-ray flares are utterly flatlined. Nothing going on in the X-ray environment. Let's bring up the ACE here and see if we see anomalous data there. And geez, oh whiz, talk about a low density. Look at the level of density there for the solar wind. Flatlining there at the bottom, getting all the way down to probably below 0.1 protons per cubic centimeter. That data does not look nearly as anomalous as the Discover. So there's that funky data there that we saw in the other view, which was the 1-day view. This is a 3-day view. GOES magnetometer should give us an indication that we're getting into that more direct coronal connection there. And this is all bad news for earthquake-prone zones. We're going to see some perturbations in that magnetometer. At least the KP is not at 0. KP has been at 1 for the last 15 hours. There's your electron flux. And electrons are just at nominal levels there. Nothing really to write home about. Charging hazards are non-existent. And the F2 layer. The F2 layer is looking quite discharged, both on the sun side and on the dark side. So F2 layer is very discharged, meaning the Earth is probably in a state of charge reception. There are your auroral forecasts, and let's move on to some more stuff. Solarham.net, another great site, although they need to update their data here. So let's move on to magnetosphere movies. We're going to look at pressure, density, and velocity as we do most days. We expect to see a very, very low density based on what that solar wind data we just saw was. Let's get this screened properly. There you go. There's a magnetosphere magnetohydrodynamic velocity. Nothing too special going on there. Here's the density. I would note that low density is shown in white and high density is shown in navy blue. As a lot of people get confused by this one, this particular model is a little bit counterintuitive. And University of Michigan, we thank you for the models. Here's the pressure, which is extremely low, as you'd expect with such a low density and such a nominal solar wind speed. A little bit of more pressure in the magnetotail than in the bow shock, indicating that the Earth is in a discharging state. Anyway, activity's low. Let's just put it that way. Very low. Next, we're going to look at the geospace delta B, aka magnetic ground perturbations. So let's see what's going on at the poles. Probably not very much, although the auroras are surprisingly large despite such a low density solar wind. I would note here on the Antarctica side that this thing looks like a spiral. And that is not a coincidence, folks. That is because you're looking down the Z field of the Earth, which means there's a Birkeland current coming straight toward you from this view. And keep in mind, it is a model, but it's based on a lot of measurements. And if you explore this site, for which we provided links, you will understand how this model is derived. Now, here's the perturbations over the globe. Now, the implications of a geomagnetic pole shift are extremely severe. We're not going to get into it in this video, but I would recommend that you go follow Coast to Coast's YouTube channel, because Ben Davidson was just on it. And you may want to listen to what he has to say about the catastrophe cycle on our planet if you're not aware of it, as it is very, very evident in the geologic record that there's a approximately 12,500 year catastrophe cycle that we really need to understand to not get dead. Let's don't get dead, folks. What do you say? We are massive entropy busters on this channel, and that's one of the major points. In fact, that's why we have a Facebook page and Facebook groups. Facebook.com/groups/entropy busters. Here's the Core 2 Stereo A space weather beacon, which we use to track coronal mass ejections that are facing the Earth. If there was one right now for you new viewers, it would be going like this, right down the interplanetary magnetic field line. Fortunately, that's not going on, although we do see a large plasma jet here, kind of just coming out of the northeastern limb there. Anyway, there's the Core 2 space weather beacon from Stereo A. Which, if you're not aware, is located 1/3 of the way around the sun from the Earth. There's Stereo A. This is where Stereo B would be located, that is. And the view we just had was a view from this perspective. I'll just advance this 7 days so you see what's going on in the solar system and then move on. Mercury swinging into conjunction with Venus there as the Earth moves into conjunction with Jupiter. Slowly but surely. I want to direct your attention to inthesky.org if you get up before it's light out, as I think it's getting light out here now already. No, I guess not. Look down the ecliptic, you should see Jupiter and Saturn. Pluto's also out there. And you're not going to see that. And my main question is, where were you when Cygnus rose? Anyway, check out in-the-sky.org and learn about important stuff like Deneb. This is the pole star at the other end of the precessional cycle, folks. And if you think that's some kind of a coincidence, well, I don't know what to tell you. Let's look at cosmic ray data as we saw some serious anomalies. Here's the apatity monitor, and we did see a spike pretty much as we started this live stream here. So there is a current cosmic ray spike at apatity, which is located near Svalbard, which is off the coast of Greenland, off the eastern coast of Greenland. And here's Barentsburg, also showing a recent spike. That is on the hourly monitor. Let's go to Athens, see what's going on there, and what has gone there. No consensus there among the cosmic rays, so Athens not showing a similar spike. Mexico City, similar to Athens, and for that, we thank you. By the way, Mexico City will allow you to look at older data. Here's Moscow, not to be confused with Moscow, a place that doesn't exist because people don't know how to pronounce the word Moscow. And here's Oulu. Pretty flat in Oulu for the past 30 days. Here's DOMC Antarctica. Nothing to write home about there. And here's DOMB Antarctica. There are links in the description to these cosmic ray monitors, folks. Actually, this network link, it's a Russian site. Don't worry, it's not fake news, and it's not going to collude with you to win the U.S. presidency. Next, we'll head to Galaxy Zoo. We'll classify a galaxy real quick. Check this one out. This is a real citizen science project, and you should be involved. We need about 7 million more galaxies classified, and we would appreciate it if you did so. So this one's got features or a disk. And this is how you classify a galaxy, folks. It's not an edge on disk. In fact, we're looking right down the Z field of this one. There is clearly no bar in this one. There's clearly no spiral arm pattern. Is there a bulge? And that reminds me, not of my cycling shorts, but of the live chat. So let me open that up as the "Is there a bulge" section is also another secret section of our live streams. So we're creating some controversy about bulges. And let's skip our own ad to get us paid even less money than we're already paid. All right. And here's the live chat. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to try to make this thing more interactive. Shout out to Snowflake and Mr. Keebler and Two Trees and Harry Vire and Terrence Mooney. Thanks for joining us. Urinary tract infections every time it rains. I'm not familiar with that one, but we'd be interested in more data on that. I don't think there's any real way to correlate rain with urinary tract infections or a bulge in a galaxy. See what I did there? That's called a callback. And I am not yet a stand-up comedian. Well, Snowflake, hey, he's got another channel that's monetized, Magnetic Reversal News. So just head there. And what is this some sort of an ad? Nice. DIY solar homestead, I'm very interested in some of your stuff. If you're selling solar products, things like greenhouses, super interested, as we want to figure out ways to solidify our outdoor growing stuff. I've planted about one thing outside so far, and it's a chickpea plant that sprouted out of a bag of Goya chickpeas off of the supermarket shelf. Dried chickpeas yielded a plant, which is already planted outside. It's pretty awesome. One of our proof of concept things. Well, I like your DIY solar homestead anyway. Please let us know what you're doing with it. Anyway, we see a moderate bulge, perhaps unlike the one in certain people's cycling shorts. Is it merging or disturbed? Not really. Does it have rare features? Nah. Not really. And that's it. And since this one is so absolutely bizarre, we're going to have to classify this and save the image, folks. So. Phew, I'm not even sure what to say about this one. It couldn't be any more perturbed than it is. We'll say features. Now, we usually don't do 2 on this segment, and we're not doing this to extend the live stream, believe me. There is no bar, but that is a triple galactic merger. Wow. I've never seen that before. Never seen anything even close to that before. It's probably 2 galaxies with an overlap, but they sure look like they're at the same focal length to me. No spiral arm pattern. And I don't even know what to say. I'm just going to say a large bulge, which is what she said. It couldn't be merging more. 3-way merge. We're going to say lens or arc, irregular, dust lane, overlap, and something else. And hey, Zooniverse.org. This one needs some further analysis. Let's get some serious radio telescopes on this galaxy, whatever it is and wherever it is. Shout out Zooniverse.org Galaxy Zoo Project. Zooniverse.org, the largest citizen science project in the world. And we suggest you get involved and help to advance science in a very real and very relevant way. Will you be the citizen scientist who identifies this galaxy? Or rather classifies it? Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/smAsho, as well as on Twitter. And while I don't tweet, smAsho staff does. And this is just an effort to make it a little easier to share with your people who aren't on whatever social media platform. Some people only tweet and don't use Facebook and vice versa. That's the reason it's here. If you want to interact, send an email at smashomash@gmail.com or put a comment or something like that. You won't really get any interaction here on Twitter, but it will give you a means to share the videos. And for that, we thank you. Also on Instagram, here's a wine review from yesterday. Here's a 1-minute or less product review on Bully Hill Vineyards. Love my goat red wine. This is a blended red wine. Grapes are grown in southern New York State. There's the bottle. It's midway on the sweet scale. I give it 2 thumbs up. It's got some sour notes to begin with, followed by a raspberry flavor, a little bit of cherry flavor, and just the right amount of oakiness. Super complex. I've seen the label. I never tried the wine till today. Bully Hill Vineyards. Love my goat red wine. Highly recommended. It's about $15 a bottle in this 1.5 liter size. So follow us there if you want to see some more behind the scenes stuff and some more personal stuff that has nothing to do with space weather. Also, at minds.com. Check out minds.com/smAsho. We will be putting up this video after the live stream is complete. If you enjoy the music that we usually feature, check out SoundCloud, links in the description. Check out soundclick.com/goldencatproductions for the more heavily produced stuff. For instance, Blacksmith. You can add this to your MP3 collection for 99 cents. Next, we'll go to earthquakes. Seismic update. Seismic update. We saw 4.4 at Greece, the Antipode of Fiji. We see a 4.6 at the Easter Island region, one of the weirder places in the world and one of the most remote places in the world, Easter Island. If you're watching from Easter Island, shout out. You better leave a comment. 5.0 in the Philippines, 4.4 in Argentina, which is a little north of where we did a little extra warning on yesterday's video. Here's a 5.0 south of Panama, 4.2 in Iran. We have seen an uptick in the Middle East earthquakes, 4.3 in China, pretty far inland, 4.4 in Chile, at depth. 5.1 at Fiji, close to the surface, of 4.8 at the Philippines, 4.4 at the Carlsberg Ridge, which is in the northwest Indian Ocean, 5.2 in the Philippines. I think that's the largest quake of the past 24. 4.8 in the Philippines, 4.1 in Greece, and that's probably one quake that lasted 10 seconds. 4.6 in the Philippines, 4.3 in the Philippines, 4.3 in Japan. .7 at Mauritius. I believe that's how it's pronounced. 4.8 at India. And a 4.5 at depth at Colombia. Let's look at windy.com to see the pressure maps. There's a hurricane about to strike India, which means there's a massive low pressure. So that's adding to the earthquake risk factor of the area. Let's let this advance so you can see. Oh, wait a minute. We are completely advanced. All right, there we go. Here's now. So this is the way this thing's going to progress here. They're calling for an imminent hit on India. So shout out Indian viewers. And let's advance this as we saw. Here's a low in southern South America, and it's very misshapen. Let's see how this one plays out. It's a little bit hard to explain what an anomalous low pressure system is, folks. Most of Earth weather moves from west to east. So for instance, if you see a low pressure system moving the opposite direction or standing still, that's an anomaly in itself. Also, we typically see low pressure systems skirting plate boundaries and just riding the plate boundary and being associated with earthquakes. Not the cause of earthquakes, a correlation with earthquakes. And the low pressure above my head looks like it's finally moving off to the northeast. It's actually a double system. We also have a serious low in the central US, and there's actually two lows this way in this area. So, causing a little rain above my head right now, but it's just about to blow out of the area with a cold front. Going to have a 58-degree high and a windy day here in Lehigh Valley. Oh my gosh, Windy. You are taking over my computer again, and for that, You've left the screen and the building. Volcano update. Volcano update. Krakatoa. Krakatoa back to erupting and recorded on the seismogram. So Krakatoa, something to keep an eye on, as it has already created new real estate within the last 6 months. We also see Dacono producing a 5,000-foot plume, Nevado del Ruiz with a 22,000-foot plume. It says possible volcanic emissions, and I think they're probably probable with a 22,000-foot ash plume. And as far as Revenador goes, don't play around there. It's producing a 20,000-foot volcanic ash cloud. Don't fly your drone over it. You'll end up with one less drone. Here's a U.S. Doppler radar, courtesy of AccuWeather.com. These storms in the east are going to slowly make their way to the northeast, like this. Nothing else too exciting going on. We do see some snow in Wyoming and Montana. Planet must be so hot that it's cold. Next, I'll direct you to lightningmaps.org because it could save your you-know-what. Now we see Kansas City looks like it's getting hit. Actually, more like rural northern Kansas, northern Missouri, rather. Anyway, check out lightningmaps.org next time there's a lightning storm above your head, as this will give you a great indication of what's going on. Now, this stuff happens very unexpectedly. However, the rule of thumb is if you hear thunder, you could be killed by lightning. Most lightning strikes are fatal, so don't get struck. lightningmaps.org. Next, we'll look at the GOES interactive weather satellites here to show you what's going on in the water vapor. Maybe I'll have to grow some peas. DIY solar homestead. I didn't see the new Madrid 2 trees. But you can check out that USGS site. In fact, that's a good point. We did see that quake in Tennessee. Let's do a custom for once. One day, all magnitudes US. So there you have it. Not a lot going on in the New Madrid. In fact, a heap and helping of nothing. That's a heap and helping of nothing, folks. All the small quakes in the US, all happening out west. Oh, will you please zoom out? Oh my gosh. Hey, thanks for the software. It almost works. All right. Anyway, there's the water vapor situation. Now, for you new viewers, the water vapor map is going to tell you what's going on in the upper atmosphere, as Doppler radar is typically lacking. So when you look at Doppler radar, it's very hard to tell what's going to happen next. And that's because water vapor satellite imagery shows you water vapor in the atmosphere that is invisible. This satellite doesn't care if it's condensed on a cloud or not. It's going to show you the water vapor. Also keep in mind, if you don't understand meteorology fully well yet, keep in mind that all of this dry air here is more massive than this wet air. Dry air is more massive because of the molar weight and mass of nitrogen. In other words, the more humid the air is, the less dense it is. And this is why we go faster on the bicycle on hot, humid days. The air is less viscous due to the water content and due to the heat. Anyway, there's a water vapor map. Let's move on. Oh my gosh, we're burning up. We're burning up. Apparently this portion is totally off the scale. 185 inches. I guess that's the top of the scale. Oh my gosh, it's only 21 inches down here. 185.2 inches. Oh my gosh, Greenland is melting. Oh my gosh. Sound the alarms and stop producing CO2 and keep paying your taxes, folks, because geez oh whiz, the whole northern hemisphere is just burning up. It's so hot up here that there's snow everywhere on April 27th. Ugh, Windy, you really got to stop doing that. It is really annoying. So there's been some basically terrorism going on and very close to where I live. This is about, oh, I don't know, a 5-mile bike ride from where I'm located right now. Somebody's been trying to burn a church down. He's tried twice, we think. Well, he's tried twice, the Bethlehem DA thinks. And Wilmer J. Ortiz does not appear to be a jihadi. I don't think it was a jihad, folks. I don't think it was a jihad. Anyway, he tried to burn this church down twice, and that was probably a very, very bad idea. I had 2 guesses. 1, that it was insurance fraud. 2, that it was a jihad. Turns out it wasn't, which is good news. Shout out Snowflake Vaccine. He just got arraigned at 10 p.m. last night. So, man, oh man, people are on it. And for that, we thank you. The second time he tried to burn the place down, he got on the roof and poured some accelerant up there. But all it did is just burn the roof a little bit. There was no real damage to the church. The only damage was from smoke and soot. And apparently he had some kind of a beef with the church. So he probably acted like an idiot, got thrown out, and then tried to burn the church down for revenge. The Zero Hedge article, which will probably give you nightmares. The essence of evil. Sex with children has become a big business in America. If you wanted some bad news, here it is. And the stats are horrific. There are links in the description. How about this one? In Georgia alone, it's estimated that 7,200 men, half of them in their 30s, seek to purchase sex with adolescent girls each month, averaging roughly 300 a day. According to USA Today, adults purchase children for sex at least 2.5 million times a year in the US. If you're concerned about the devaluation of human life and human civilization, this is a great way to undermine it by damaging children in a way that they'll never recover from. Again, links in the article. If you see something, say something. Be a Minuteman. We thank you, President Trump, for helping to retain U.S. sovereignty. Yes. Now, many of us in the U.S., I don't know why there's a constellation in this photo, folks. I have no idea. Many of us in the U.S. do not appreciate the UN attempting to create laws that undermine the U.S. Constitution, such as a treaty signed in 2013 by then President Barack Obama. A quote from Trump, "We're taking our signature back." Now, this article is on Reuters. And of course, they got to put a comment in here about how many were wearing MAGA hats, as if that has anything to do with anything. Trump called the defense of American sovereignty, as did I, because America runs America, not the UN, nor should it. So Shall not be infringed, folks. Shall not be infringed. If you're anti-gun, leave a comment. We'll be nice. So yeah, we're at a very, very low level of solar activity, folks. A very, very low level. 67 SFU on the 10.7 centimeter radial flux is a legit solar minimum condition. So we're going to show you some more views here, as we now have 9 hours and 15 minutes worth. And we appreciate your tuning in. So let's go to 94 angstroms. This track is by Dr. Sam Afif. Shout out Arabian Nightmare. It's called Solemn Gratitude. And I'm not sure if I helped him out with this one or not, or if I just produced it. Maybe I'm only his distribution chain. I don't know. All right, Bezos Chemtrails. That's a great way to close out the video. Just kidding. Let's give you another bonus view here. The colored magnetogram. Show you how blank and bored the sun is right now. We see a little bit of field complexity in the northeast. Right in this region, not that region, this region. Besides that, not a lot going on. So let's close this thing out and get out of here. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. Thanks, donors. As our lack of a zero budget is making a huge difference in our operation. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and you are going to be seeing more produced videos coming out soon. It's just there's a lot of work to do, and it's springtime, which means there's even more work to do. So thanks again, everybody. Remember, when you're staring at the sun, don't drink, and if you drink, stare at the sun anyway, just don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.